Yo YouTube, what is going down? It is A. Jones coming out with another video, and today I have my good friend Dylan Stern to talk about his vegetarian lifestyle, how he got into it, what's like the hardest parts about it, what's been the most beneficial, and why he still chooses to be a vegetarian in his daily lifestyle. So Dylan, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thanks
It's
for
awesome.
having me, Aaron. It's great to be here. Hello, YouTube.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, just so that they kind of know a little more.
Yeah, so I'm Dylan, as Aaron said, and I've been friends with this guy for a long time. Great person, great YouTube channel, as I know. I go here, I live with Aaron, and I go to Ohio State with him. We're both business majors, and as he alluded to, I'm a vegetarian, and I have been my whole life. I'm 20 years old, and all 20 years I've been a vegetarian. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today.
So how have you become a vegetarian your whole life? Was it just something that you were born into, or was it just you never, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I get asked about it a lot. Both of my parents actually were vegetarians at the time of my birth, and so they thought it was the right decision to also make me a vegetarian. It kind of made the most sense to do that. And ever since, not only have they stayed vegetarians, but I have been a vegetarian my whole life also. So since day one, there's no meat in my life. There has never been, and I don't see there being any meat in the near future. But it's just been a part of my life. It's something I'm very used to now. It doesn't feel abnormal, even though to outsiders it seems like, wow, 20 years, you've never eaten meat, you've never not been a vegetarian. Well, it seems very normal now that I've had 2 decades complete as a vegetarian.
Now, a question that comes to my mind is, have you ever accidentally had meat?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely get asked it a lot. In fact, I have. There's been several occasions where I'll accidentally eat a bite of meat, whether it be like pepperoni slipped under the cheese of pizza, or bacon bits sprinkled into a salad or in a pasta dish, or sometimes certain beans at Mexican restaurants are cooked with meat, or certain oils that certain things are fried with are not vegetarian. So there has been some instances, and those have been sometimes awkward, but normally it's not too big of a deal. It's just one accidental bite, and I don't consider it like not being a vegetarian just because it's one bite. It's just an accident. Accidents happen, especially in a world that a society that thrives on meat, and that there's meat everywhere. Any restaurant you go to, pretty much, except for a few, have meat at them. So it's hard to completely avoid it sometimes, but there has been a couple of occasions where I've ran into some issues, definitely.
Now, I hear that you find it hard to avoid sometimes, whether it's slipping under in your food, or it just kind of gets on your meal. Do you find it hard to find a meal to order, or do you like kind of feel pressured when everyone goes to, say, I don't know, McDonald's or steakhouse or some place where it's meat prevalent and they're all ordering burgers and steaks, and you have to go with that probably a one option vegetarian selection, I'm guessing?
That's a great question. With the fact that 99% of my friends and pretty much everybody is not a vegetarian, you run into social situations where you're in a group and everybody wants to go to a restaurant that is, you know, a meat that prides itself in meat, or is a meat specialty restaurant or a fast food joint where there's not a whole lot of vegetarian options. And sometimes that has been an issue. You have to sometimes I just have to kind of suck it up and realize, all right, well, I'm gonna go to this place because everybody is, and I'll just find an option. But on the other hand, today in 2015, there's more and more places with vegetarian options, and more restaurants are realizing that there's a lot of vegetarians in the world, and the movement is kind of on the rise. So pretty much everywhere you can go nowadays in America, especially in the Midwest, you can find vegetarian options. Especially at sit-down places, a lot of times, more and more you'll see restaurants that'll have specific sections of their menu sectioned off that are like clearly labeled vegetarian. Or if not a section, they'll have like codes at the bottom, like with a V next to the item that'll say this is vegetarian, or other things too, like this is gluten-free, whatever it may be. So as my life has progressed, I think it's become easier and easier to find vegetarian options. People are realizing that they need to cater to different people's needs, because it's going to be profitable for them if they can serve everybody and make everybody happy. But also people are just realizing it's a growing movement.
Hey YouTube, so that video got cut off because my memory card was full. and we were just talking about how Dylan is finding it easier and easier to get more selections for his vegetarian items. So I don't know if you have any more comments to add to that.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered it.
Okay.
Just that the vegetarian movement's definitely on the rise, and you'll see more and more restaurants try to cater to vegetarians' needs, as I said.
Now, have you noticed any benefits with being... Now, I know it's kind of hard to compare because you never really had meat in your life, but do you attribute any health benefits to being a vegetarian? And will you ever go vegan, or have you thought about going vegan?
It's a good question. Like you said, I've never not been a vegetarian, so I haven't been able to compare, contrast, see if I feel healthier, if I, just feel like a better person or anything like that. As far as vegan goes, my dad is a vegan, and I think he would love to see me become a vegan. I don't think I could ever do that. There's just way too many dairy products that I absolutely love and have always been a major part of my life, and honestly a major part of my diet, because dairy makes up for a lot of the protein that I miss by not eating meat. So dairy is definitely an important part of my diet. Cheese and eggs and milk and yogurt, and then also certain sweets like cake and ice cream. Those are things I love to have in my diet. And then what was the other part of the question?
Do you ever see yourself going vegan, was the question you just answered. And then was it... So we're talking health benefits of becoming a vegetarian.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that scientists and people attribute health benefits to being a vegetarian. A lot of people think there's a lesser chance of contracting certain diseases, certain things like a lower chance of obesity, of heart disease, heart problems. Certain types of cancers are shown to have a lower risk if you're a vegetarian. Overall, it's just like a leaner way on your body. It's not as stressful on your body. So, but you got to be careful. There also could be some drawbacks. There's certain vitamins and minerals that you got to make up for that you're missing in meat. The big one obviously is protein. You got to find alternative ways, plant-based protein options instead of animal-based protein options when you're a vegetarian.
So do you find that through your plant-based options, or you said mostly milk, but do you take supplements to kind of make up for that lost minerals and vitamins that you miss from?
That's a good question. A big concern with vegetarians, in addition to protein, is iron and certain vitamins. So I do take a multivitamin every day in the morning. But then as far as making up for protein, there are lots of protein alternatives for vegetarians. There's all sorts of fake meats, which I'm sure some of you have heard of. Tofurkey and veggie burgers.
Bacon.
And fake bacon. I've pretty much had every type of meat in the fake version, the vegetarian version. But then, there's also certain ways with non-fake meat that I can get protein to from like nuts and dairy products, eggs, milk, whatever it may be. But so you got to be careful. There are health benefits, but you got to make sure that you don't hurt yourself in the long run by not getting all the vitamins and minerals that your body kind of needs, especially protein.
Now, do you get asked, are you vegetarian? Do you get asked these questions all the time? Like, why are you a vegetarian? How did that happen? Especially when you go out and everyone's eating those meals and you go veggie.
That's a great question. Yes, definitely yes.
Yeah.
It's a big social issue that I've kind of run into, or not issue, but social situation that I've run into pretty much basically my whole life, because you're always eating with people, you're eating with friends. When you meet new people, especially at college, sometimes you get a meal with them.
For sure.
And they'll ask, what do you're not getting any meat at this meal, So I definitely have to answer a lot of questions all the time. The common ones which you ask, why are you a vegetarian? Have you ever eaten meat? Have you ever accidentally eaten meat? How long have you been a vegetarian? You've pretty much covered the big ones, but people are pretty shocked to see somebody who's been a vegetarian their whole life. You rarely ever see a person like that. And then also I would add that you don't see too many guys who are vegetarian. There's a lot of vegetarians in college, and I would say a vast majority that I have personally met have been girls, not guys. So say in that aspect I'm definitely unique in the fact that I'm a guy vegetarian and I've been a vegetarian my whole life. But yeah, it's definitely a social situation, definitely constantly having to answer questions. But I can understand that, it's they're reasonable questions to ask. I'd be doing the same thing if I was on the other side, so I don't mind answering them.
So we covered how you became a vegetarian, all of the questions that everyone asks when they see that you ordered a veggie
burger
dish,
or something. Yeah.
veggie burger, bacon, tofurkey. Do you have any other last tips or things to say to the people that may not be vegetarian, considering it? Just any closing remarks?
Yeah, well, I would say that it's definitely possible to do if it's something that you want to accomplish. Even if it's something you want to try in the short term, it's definitely something that a lot of people try and they'll feel much better about themselves. Not only are they, eating dead animals, or they don't feel bad about, the slaughterhouses or anything like the poor conditions, the animal rights and stuff like that, but also in addition, a lot of people love the health benefits of it. They just feel leaner. They feel like they're just a healthier person. Their body just feels cleaner and not full of just animals and stuff like that. And I would say, like I was getting at, it's very possible to be a vegetarian. There's more and more alternatives now in 2015 than there's ever been for meat. There's all sorts of fake meat. There's all sorts of plant-based protein options that you can find. And I really enjoy being a vegetarian. And although I've never seen the other side of it, I've never been a meat eater, I can't really see myself becoming a permanent meat eater just because I'm happy with my lifestyle now, and it's just kind of a part of who I am, and something I'm very proud of. So.
Well, you heard it from the man himself, Dylan Stern. Thank you for being on my channel on this video and talking about your vegetarian lifestyle. I'm sure the people who are watching this right now are going to enjoy it. I had fun filming it, and I hope you come back on my channel.
Well, thanks a lot, Jizzy, for having me. Definitely would love to conduct some more interviews for you about whatever you want to talk about. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, dude.
Thanks a lot.